Hello everyone, this is John and I'm going to help you set up your PowerTeacher gradebook. The first area we need to look at is your categories. Categories, for example, these are four, are ways that you can actually serve multiple functions, but one of the functions is they will help you organize your assignments. You can quickly see by the color codes what assignments are what. You can also use these categories to weight a particular subject area. So if you wanted assignments to count 40% and tests to count 60%, you can do that. And we'll look at that more in detail in a minute. Um, these categories are going to show up for each of your subject areas. So it's important that before you begin setting up categories, you've thought about each of your subject areas. You've worked with your team to create um, to come to an agreement on what categories you're going to use. Okay, so let's see about setting the first category. So if you go to Tools and Categories, here we are in the Categories window. There are four categories by default within PowerTeacher. These are editable. You can change them. Okay, so I'm going to change Homework to Assignment. Oops, Assignments. And I'm going to change the abbreviation to ASGN. Okay, we'll leave the color code blue. Typically in an elementary school, most teachers work on a 100-point scale, so I'm going to change possible points to 100. This is certainly editable later. You can change this with each assignment or task that you create. You can change the possible points. All this does is set up the default, so it's automatically going to be 100. If you wanted something other than that, you can change that. Same with extra points. And for score types, I'm going to change to percentage. That means that you're going to put in a grade. If a student makes 100 and you put in a grade of a 95, it's going to show up as 95% in your grade book. That is also editable later on. So if you're going to be putting in, if you would use points, for example, if you were using a rubric, but we'll talk about that more later. So let's leave that at percentage grades. And I'm also going to say that all my assignments are going to be included in my final grade. Now I can go to projects. I'm going to change that to 100. Projects may be points for you, but for right now, I'm going to set them up as percentage. I'm going to include them in the final grade. Quiz, same thing. Typically, elementary schools are going to be 100, even if the points are less than that. And again, this is all editable. Percentages, test, same thing. 100 and percentage. And so now I'm going to choose to create a new category, and I'm going to make that category. Actually, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go back to test, and I'm going to change that to unit assessments. All right. So, and we can just abbreviate that UA. All right. So I was able to change that one. Now for other categories, I am going to add one more in here that I'm going to call formative. And for those of you who would like to do formative assessments but not create them or not have them affect the grade, and I'll choose a color here. Let's see, we don't have a green yet. Possible points, well, let's say 100, although it doesn't really matter. But the thing that does matter here is that I uncheck include in final grade, because I really don't want my formative assessments to include there. All right, I'm going to say close at this point, and now I have set up my categories. All right, I will be back with more information on this, or actually the next step in the next quick tip. Thank you very much.